Hello everyone, batching into today's second video. Going to do JMA for today's second video. As always on a Friday, I've got your month-ahead look ahead. Going to take us towards the latter stages of July. So I'm going to look at the JMA first of all, then we'll have a look at the CFS V2, see how the two compare. And yeah, we'll get on with the video very shortly. Just say that the European Outlook has been released, so that's weather the weekend across Europe. Heat's going to be building in the coming week across much of Northern Europe. So have a look at European Outlook, see what's going on there. And today's second video update, of course, you're going to be having a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days, and it will include all of the usual features too. That'll be coming up later on this afternoon. I'm running very late today, so sorry about that. Right, so let's start off with the JMA 500 millibar high anomaly charts from the North Pole view down. So this is the North Pole of the Northern Hemisphere just here. Got the wider Arctic circle around there, then the mid-latitudes around here. Blue is extrapolated to below average heights, which is low pressure. Yellow, orange, and red extrapolate to above average heights, which is high pressure. These are broken down to weekly periods. The first week period will take us from the 19th to the 26th of June. The coming week we'll have high pressure sitting over and to the east of the country with low pressure out to west. Winds will be pushing up from the south, so it's going to become increasingly warm in the weekend. We'll be drawing the air up from the south, and a lot of dry weather on offer too, although watch out for a fungy breakdown as that trough of low pressure starts to get ever closer from off the Atlantic. Week 2 is going to take us from the 26th of June to the 3rd of July with the above average heights then. Just receding a little further away from us to the east. Below average heights are out to the west. Jet stream and the flow does something like that. So that's breaking the ridge down a little bit. That's turning a bit more unsettled for the early part of July. A little bit cooler and fresh as well. As I said, it could involve a fungy breakdown. There could be a fungy breakdown in with that, but eventually the low pressure and the cooler air will start moving from off the Atlantic. And then weeks 3 and 4 takes us from the 3rd through to the 17th of July. And look at this, we've got an area of above average height setting up in this week over the country and extending to our northeast as well. Low pressure is out to the northwest, jet stream doing something like that. It looks like the Azores high is making its move there and turning us increasingly dry and warm, you would have thought, as that ridge builds in from the southwest. That could be a proper spell of summer type weather. Let's have a look at the tropical and mid-latitude view to confirm this. So the British Isles in the top right-hand corner of the chart as you're looking at it on this view. Reminder of the week 1 500 millibar height anomaly from the 19th to the 26th of June. Have the above average heights over to the east of the country, and if we come over here, over to the east, low pressure is out to the west. Wind is being drawn up from the south. So temperature anomalies in the week ahead are going to be warmer than average. It's hotter than average week coming up by around 2 degrees above average, so a very warm week on the way. A little bit wetter than average for the north and the west, drier than average for the south and the east. I suspect this involves a fungy breakdown probably later on. Week 2 is the 26th of June to the 3rd of July. This one looks a little bit cooler and more unsettled with the low pressure out to west, just breaking down that ridge a little bit. Temperature anomalies are still above average, but not by as much as they are in week 1. Nevertheless, it's a warmer than average week by around 1 to 2 degrees above average. A little bit more unsettled, so precipitation rainfall is going above average in this week for the end of June into the beginning of July. And then weeks 3 and 4 takes us from the 3rd to the 17th of July with the above average heights then extending in from the Atlantic into much of Northern Europe. Temperature anomalies interestingly lower a little bit. I'm not sure why that would be, but we lose those significantly above average temperature anomalies. If anything, we've had seen to going a bit below average to our west. It does turn drier as well. I'm not sure about that temperature anomaly at all. I think as the high pressure builds up from the Azores, we will find ourselves going off and running into an increasingly warm spell of weather, maybe in hot weather, as we go further out into July. Let's have a look at CFS V2, see how that compares. So again, these are 500 millibar heights broken down to week periods. The first week period takes from the 19th to 25th of June. The coming week we'll have the high pressure sitting to our east. The low pressure will be out to west, and we'll be drawing up those winds from the south. So again, going to be a much warmer week, hotter week coming up compared to this past week. Watch out potentially for a bit of thunder by the time we get through to the end of next week. Week 2 is the 26th of June to the 2nd of July. Then the high pressure is still to our east, but the low pressure just getting a little bit closer from the west. Again, it possibly just suggests a bit of a thundery breakdown and something a little bit cooler and fresher starting to come in from off the Atlantic. Week 3 is the 3rd to the 9th of July. High pressure then over Scandinavia and also slipping down into the UK and Western Europe. Low pressure is out to the northwest. Jet stream is pushing northwards like that. That should be settling down and turning increasingly warm. And then we go through to week 4, which is the 10th to the 16th of July, with high pressure then just slightly to our west, over just slightly to the west. Should still be mainly dry and pleasantly warm. May not be that hot because we won't be drawing up wind from the south with that, but certainly pleasantly warm and mostly dry. Temperature anomalies for week 1 from the 19th to 25th of June, hotter than average by around 1 to 2 degrees above average. So it is going to be quite a hot week coming up. Week 2 also looks hotter than average. This is the 26th of June to 2nd of July, significantly above average temperatures again. Many parts of Europe looking really quite hot too. Week 3 is above average, again it's the 3rd to the 9th of July, maybe not by quite as much, but nevertheless still probably up to around a degree above average. And then week 4 is also warmer than average from the 10th to the 16th of July. Again, maybe not quite as much in weeks 1 and 2 as weeks 3 and 4 above average, but nevertheless still a warmer than average week coming up, warmer than average couple of weeks coming up, I should say. Precipitation wise, finally, with CFS V2, so from the 19th to 25th of June, it's a bit wetter average out to our northwest, it's drier than average to our south and east. I'm going to go through to week 3, and that one is, week 2 I should say, 26th of June, 2nd of July, that one is near normal for precipitation. Week 3 is the 3rd to the 9th of July, possibly hinting at going drier than average again. Week 4 also looks drier than average. It's the 10th to the 16th of July. That one also looking drier than average. I think the prospects for July could be looking increasingly good here, to be honest, if you like warm and dry weather. Whilst the temperature anomalies don't look overly exciting at the moment as we go into July, I think the patterns are suggesting a build of pressure here, and that will almost inevitably lead to increasingly warm and dry weather as we go into July. Plenty of warm, in fact quite hot weather coming up next week as well. Then a little cooler, a little sort of cooler interlude in week 2, just as we end June and begin July. And then as we go further on into July, the prospects are there, the high pressure to be taking over, turning us increasingly dry, fine, and potentially very warm through the first half of July. Right, that's it for JMA Friday. Maybe it's just a snapshot of what the model is showing, so it could all look very, very different next week. I'll rattle through that very quickly because I am running late today. So that's it for this week anyway. Do it all over again with JMA Friday. Next week we'll be back later on with your week to 10-day B update, extending out to day 14, and that will include all of regular features as well. I'll come back to that later on. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.